The Lighthouse Beyond the Stars. A bedtime story. Long ago, in a quiet village beside the endless sea, there lived a young boy named Oliver. The village was small, peaceful, and hidden between green hills and silver beaches. Every evening, as the sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon, the villagers would light lanterns outside their homes, creating a warm golden glow that stretched through the winding streets. Oliver loved the evenings more than any other time of day. While others returned home to rest, he would sit on the cliffs overlooking the ocean and watch the waves dance beneath the moonlight. There was one thing that fascinated him more than anything else: an ancient lighthouse standing alone on a distant island. The lighthouse was old, older than anyone in the village could remember. Its tall stone tower rose proudly above the sea, and every night its light shone across the water like a guiding star. Many stories surrounded the lighthouse. Some said it had been built by sailors centuries ago. Others believed it was magical. A few even whispered that its keeper knew secrets hidden among the stars. Oliver listened to every story carefully, but none satisfied his curiosity. One evening, after finishing his chores, he visited his grandfather. His grandfather was the oldest person in the village. His silver beard reached almost to his chest, and his eyes seemed to hold memories from another age. "Grandfather," Oliver asked, "what is the true story of the lighthouse?" The old man smiled softly. "Ah, the lighthouse beyond the sea." "Do you know its story?" Oliver asked eagerly. His grandfather gazed toward the distant horizon. "Only a small part." "What part?" "The part that matters most." Oliver leaned closer. The old man said quietly, "The lighthouse shows its greatest light only to those who are willing to follow their dreams." Oliver frowned. "That sounds like a riddle." His grandfather laughed gently. "Perhaps it is." That night, Oliver could hardly sleep. He lay awake listening to the sound of waves outside his window. Again and again, he thought about the lighthouse. Finally, just before dawn, he made a decision. He would visit the island himself. The next morning, he prepared a small bag. Inside, he packed bread, fruit, a blanket, and a notebook. Then he walked to the harbor. Most fishermen were preparing their boats. Among them was Captain Elias, an elderly sailor known for his kindness. "Good morning, Oliver," said the captain. "Good morning, Captain." "What brings you here so early?" Oliver hesitated. Then he told him everything. The captain listened carefully. When Oliver finished, the old sailor smiled. "So you wish to visit the lighthouse?" "Yes." Captain Elias looked at the sea. The water was calm. The sky was clear. "It seems the ocean approves." An hour later, they were sailing across the sparkling water. The village gradually became smaller behind them. Ahead stood the island. As they approached, Oliver noticed how tall the lighthouse truly was. Its stone walls seemed untouched by time. White seabirds circled around its peak. The waves crashed gently against the rocky shore. When the boat finally reached land, Oliver thanked the captain. "I'll return tomorrow," Captain Elias promised. Then he sailed away. Oliver turned toward the lighthouse. For a moment he felt nervous. The island was silent. Only the wind and the distant cries of seabirds could be heard. He climbed the narrow path leading upward. Wildflowers grew between the rocks. Butterflies drifted through the air. The higher he climbed, the more beautiful the view became. Finally, he reached the lighthouse door. It was enormous, made of dark wood, covered in intricate carvings. Oliver knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Still silence. Slowly, he pushed the door. To his surprise, it opened. Inside, the lighthouse was warm and welcoming. Shelves filled with books lined the walls. Maps hung from wooden beams. Strange instruments rested upon old tables. At the center of the room sat a man. His hair was white, his beard was long, yet his eyes shone with youthful energy. The man looked up and smiled. "I have been expecting you." Oliver froze. Expecting me? The keeper nodded. Every traveler eventually arrives. But we've never met. The keeper chuckled. Not all meetings happen before they begin. Oliver had no idea what that meant. Still, there was something comforting about the old man. Are you the lighthouse keeper? I am. How long have you lived here? The keeper looked thoughtful. Long enough to watch generations come and go? Oliver sat down. He had hundreds of questions. The keeper seemed to notice. One question at a time. Oliver laughed. Fair enough. For hours they talked. About the sea, about distant lands, about stars, about dreams. The keeper possessed knowledge unlike anyone Oliver had ever met. As evening approached, the old man invited him to climb the tower. Together they ascended the spiral staircase. Round and round they climbed, until at last they reached the top. The view took Oliver's breath away. The ocean stretched endlessly in every direction. The sky glowed with shades of gold, orange, and purple. Then darkness slowly arrived. One by one, stars appeared, thousands of them, perhaps millions. Oliver stared upward. I've never seen so many stars. The keeper smiled. Most people look at the ground while searching for answers. And where should they look? The keeper pointed toward the heavens. Everywhere. The lighthouse lamp suddenly came alive. Its brilliant light swept across the ocean. The beam stretched farther than Oliver thought possible. As he watched, something extraordinary happened. The stars seemed brighter. The sea seemed calmer. Time itself appeared to slow. What is this place? Oliver whispered. The keeper's voice was gentle. A place where people remember who they are. Oliver felt a strange warmth inside his heart. Not excitement, not fear. Something deeper, something peaceful. For the first time in a long while, he felt completely calm. The keeper sat beside him. Tell me, Oliver. What? What do you dream of becoming? Oliver thought carefully. No one had ever asked him that question seriously. Finally, he answered. I want to explore the world. Why? Because there is so much to discover. The keeper nodded. A worthy dream. But what if I fail? The old man smiled. The stars fail every morning. Oliver looked confused. They disappear. Yet every night they return. Oliver sat silently. The keeper continued. Failure is not falling. It is refusing to rise again. The words settled gently in Oliver's heart. That night he slept inside the lighthouse. And while the waves whispered below and the stars shone above, he dreamed of distant horizons, endless adventures, and paths not yet traveled. But he did not know that the next morning would begin a journey far greater than he had ever imagined.